in my opinion, the real news here is that there is a sport called Quidditch, and it looks as lame as and cringe as you can possibly imagine it. Wait, is this like a woman? Do they have men and women playing together? That is so progressive. But anyway, the thing that is really interesting is that when I saw Quidditch in Harry Potter for the first time, I was thinking to myself, my God, this is such a dumb sport. And I was a kid back at the time, and even with my childhood brain, I realized that the sport is dumb. And the reason is that the scoring system is so ridiculous. So you have 10 points for the people who manage to score a goal, but you also have two people that are seeking a really small ball, and if they manage to catch it, they scored 150 points. So it's like a game within a game. But what everyone is doing, like those 10 points don't really matter if just the one person manages to catch that little ball. So imagine if you're, I don't know, the Messi of Quidditch, the Ronaldinho of Quidditch, and you're having a really great game and you manage to score 70 points and your team is winning, and all of a sudden the guy from the other team manages to catch that little ball and it's over. How is it like for the people watching the game? Like, again, you're rooting for your team, they're scoring points after point, and all of a sudden, like, someone catches the... Oh, my God. No, it's really stupid. But, you know, like, that's fine. I mean, it's a child's book. Like, the focus isn't the sport itself. So, when you watch the movie, I mean, it was a little bit like, well, how is this game actually fun? But... you know, you get over it because it's not like a main point of the book. And I think like the author herself didn't really put that much mind into it. But the fact that there's an actual game inspired by it is so bizarre, so weird, whatever, you know. Hopefully I'll see it at the Olympics, because why not? But the thing that really is interesting here is that you have all these people that love to milk J.K. Rowling for the money, but they also want to morally distance themselves from her. How does that work? Like, how does that work? Because in progressive La La Land, the way things work is that if you have a person that, let's say, can invent the cure for cancer, like he would be a really great contributor to humanity. But if he makes sexist jokes, then he needs to get fired. They need to get him out of a job regardless of how good he is at a job. Remember that Nobel Prize winner who was accused of making a sexist joke? I know, it's horrible. It's almost like he committed a genocide or something, because they fired him because he made the sexist joke. He said, women don't belong in the lab because you can fall in love with them. Like, just some boomerish thing, you know, like he's an old man and he said this joke. And by the way, like, it wasn't even proven that he said the joke. Like, it was just the accusation. So he got fired and now he's working in Japan. So I guess the nation of Japan can benefit from his scientific contributions, because while we live in a world where we need to trust the science, we also need to get scientists fired, Nobel Prize winners out of a job. You know, that's how we treat the scientists in a world when we need to trust the science. But my point is that the progressive mindset is that regardless of how good a person is at doing their job, they need to get fired if they make the wrong joke, if they say the wrong statement. But the problem is that J.K. Rowling can't get fired because she's too rich. So they want to milk her of her money. They want to get rich themselves because they're very greedy people. But at the same time, they don't want to admit that they are supporting her as a person. But you are supporting her as a person. Like, if you actually use her property, you're giving her money. You're giving money to what you consider to be a transphobe. And that's okay. You know what? Own that. Own that. Be a man and own it. But they're not men. You know, they're cowards. They're cowards and they don't want to own it. They're like, oh, we distance ourselves, but we're going to give her money. How does that work? You know, because according to their ideology, what they're doing is haram. And it's not just J.K. Rowling. They do it with H.P. Lovecraft. They did it with Minecraft. They did it with Seven Nights at Freddy's or whatever it's called. I mean, it's constant. It happened constantly. Like, you have a person that creates something that people actually enjoy. Like, without that person, you wouldn't have that thing. But that person maybe has some views or says something that progressives don't like, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, that's so icky, oh, that's so icky, but give us your IP, give us your IP, so we can make money off of it, let us monetize you. It is just, my God, it's cringe. It is absolutely cringe. Grown-ass adults shouldn't act this way. They shouldn't behave in such a manner. Look, if you find the person repugnant, then distance yourself from them. You know, like, don't say that, oh, we find the person repugnant, but we're going to create an H.P. Lovecraft board game. It's like, but you don't like H.P. Lovecraft. He's a racist, right? So why you do that? Oh my God, it's... And, you know, it also goes to show, yet again, and this is why I love J.K. Rowling, because she is the best example of why people never get to be progressive enough. J.K. Rowling is progressive on every single issue when it comes to immigration, when it comes to Brexit, all the issues, she's progressive. But, like, just this thing, like, she doesn't think men can have uteruses, and because of that, they're flipping out. It's like, just one thing. Like, one thing. Like, can't you ignore it? Not to mention, like, J.K. Rowling is not making policy. She's not in the British Parliament. She's not creating, like, an entire movement or anything like that. But like, they're freaking out because this public person is having weird thoughts. Do you know, like, the same weird thoughts that J.K. Rowling is having is probably the same thoughts that the Saudi Arabian king is having. And you didn't see the activists freak out when the Saudi Arabian king is visiting London. Oh, that's fine. Let's pretend. It is just such a bizarre ideology, honestly. Because they don't have the same standards across the board. I mean, I would understand, you know, it's like, okay, fine, like, they want to get rich by milking the J.K. Rowling franchise. Fine. But why don't they apply the same standard when a person that's connected to the Saudi family is visiting London, or when someone from Qatar is visiting London? They don't act the same. Like, if Putin would be visiting London tomorrow, they wouldn't complain about Putin's view on trans people. It's just like with J.K. Rowling. Why? Because they actually enjoy their stuff. If Putin would create a board game tomorrow, and these twats would enjoy their stuff, all of a sudden they would freak out about Putin's statements on gay people and whatnot. So as long as you don't create something that they enjoy, then it's fine. Like, then you're allowed to do it. But otherwise, they freak out. My God. And just so you know, like, there's a new game coming out on PlayStation 5. I think it's like Hogwarts Academy or something like that. Looked kind of interesting. It's nothing spectacular, but it looked interesting enough. And of course, the creators are distancing themselves from the evil J.K. Rowling. Hey, want to distance yourself from her? How about make a different IP? It's just, like, unbelievable. You know, like, if what you think J.K. Rowling is doing is beyond the pale, like, she doesn't think men can have uteruses, you should distance yourself from Karl Marx. Like, newsflash, if you have a time machine and you ask Karl Marx, hey, do you think trans women are women? What do you think Karl Marx is going to say? Anyway, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.